Jake here for American Trucks, and today I'm taking a look at the Morimoto XB LED taillights with black housings and smoked lenses fitting the 2017 to 2022 F-250 Super Duty. If you're looking for the ultimate lighting upgrade for your F-250, well, you gotta give these a shot. With a hugely impressive lighting output, cool modern styling, and total plug-and-play integration, these might just be the coolest taillights out there on the market. Now, I make no bones about it, but I'm a big fan of Morimoto's offerings, especially their XB series of lights. They are always impressive from the quality of the lighting output and even the design. It's really easy to spend a lot on aftermarket lights, but it's hard to find ones that are gonna look and perform well, especially when you're spending a lot of money on them. But that's exactly why I like these, and yet again, I think Morimoto really hit it out of the park. Whether your F-250 has the factory LEDs, the halogens, or whatever, these are a major upgrade and you don't have to do anything crazy to get them fitted. Now, the look of these things is pretty sweet. Of course, styling is subjective, and if you prefer something that's a bit more OEM-like or on the subtle side, there is a version of these with red lenses too. But the black internal housings with the smoked lenses here, I think they're truly something to behold. They almost have kind of a jewel quality to them, and that's thanks mostly to the internal optics. And you get a big light bar around the outside, and that's gonna function as your running light, making a big statement when they're lit up. Moving towards the inside, you've got 3 rows of large blade-like LEDs, and these are gonna make up your brake and turn signal lights. Needless to say, these are super bright. They give off a really intense red light. More than enough to get your truck noticed. And that's to say nothing of the reverse lights. Yes, those are LEDs as well, and they have, again, a really bright, intense white light to them. So you will be able to see and be seen more easily as well. And it's nice that Morimoto put some thought into the reverse lights as well. Many manufacturers just don't do that, or they make you bring over your stock incandescent bulbs. So obviously the light output and style here are a huge improvement. But there's even more than that. And this might be the coolest thing, especially if you're gonna geek out about it like I do. If your truck has the blind spot monitoring system, those radar sensors in the back, these are gonna work with those as well. That's right, they're gonna keep that system intact. Now, you will have to swap over the module in the lights to make sure that they do work, but that's just a couple of plugs and you're done. These are a plug and play setup right out of the box with any of your factory lighting setups, again, whether you've got LEDs, halogen, or even if you have the blind spot monitoring, or if you don't. Doesn't matter what truck you've got, this is gonna be an easy solution for you. These are also DOT and SAE compliant, making them fully street legal, so you really don't have anything to worry about here. The XB series are some of the best lights out there, and not just because of the look, but also the way that they are put together. As soon as you take these out of the box, you can tell that they're very nicely made. The housing is a strong injection molded ABS plastic, and then the lens here is of course the requisite UV coated polycarbonate. So these are gonna be durable and they're gonna continue to look good and function well for years to come. The lenses aren't gonna crack and fade in the sunlight, and the whole assemblies are IP67 waterproof rated, so you won't have to worry about water or dirt getting in and ruining the housings. The LEDs that we were talking about earlier are all SSC LEDs, so they're high quality through and through. Plus, you've got some aluminum back here with a big old heat sink included to make sure that everything stays working and running nice and cool for you. So again, it's pretty much a worry-free setup, but of course that does come with a price. So for that quality construction, all the cool features and everything that we just talked about, you're looking at about $750. Now that does put them on the higher end of the spectrum, but like with most things, you get what you pay for, and you really are getting a lot for your money here. These plug right in and they just work, so there's really nothing to sacrifice outside of paying for it, with the exception of maybe the time that it's gonna take to install them. But again, everything is plug and play here, so that's really not gonna be a huge issue. As a matter of fact, installation is gonna get an easy 1 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and the job should take you about an hour to complete. Now, we're building in a little bit of extra time here for those of you who do have that blind spot monitoring system, because again, you're gonna have to swap modules over. There's a few other things for you to plug in. But otherwise, this is a total plug and play operation, and all the harnesses that you need come wrapped up really nicely in the box for you. Plus all the pigtails, again, like you just saw a few moments ago, are ready to go right out of the box. So you don't have to do any kind of wiring, just follow the instructions and plug and play. Speaking of which, why don't we head out to the install bay now and we'll show you what that process looks like.
The tools you're going to need for this install include an electric or regular 3/8 ratchet, a small Phillips head screwdriver, and an 8mm socket. What's up guys? Today we're going to be installing a set of tail lights on our F-250. But before we get started, you're gonna watch a short video on how to uninstall your stock components, and I'll meet you back here for the install.
All right, so the first step in our uninstall with your tailgate down, grab an 8mm socket and remove the 2 bolts on the inside of the taillight. Grab that 8mm socket and remove each bolt. Repeat that for your bottom bolt. Now that your 2 bolts are removed, grab your taillight at a slight angle and pull to release it. Now you can see all 3 connectors. What you're gonna do is press down on each of the tabs and pull back to disconnect. And remove the taillight.
So now that your OEM taillights are removed, we can move on to the table with our new taillight, and we're gonna have to remove this 3.75 ohm resistor with our Phillips head screwdriver, removing these 2 screws. So you can take our Phillips head screwdriver and remove these 2 screws. Set them to the side. And now we're going to be replacing the 3.75 with 2 7.5 ohm resistors. So we can lay our first resistor down. Now we can thread in our 2 brass standoffs. Now that those are on hand tight, we can take our second resistor, get them lined up with the holes. Then we can thread in our screws that we took out of the original resistor. Take our Phillips head screwdriver, thread these in. Now we can plug in our harness. Our main connector will go into the tail light. Click, and then you press in this red tab. Good. Now you can find the connectors on the harness that are labeled with 1s and connect them to these types of connectors. We'll go into the brown. This one's also a 1. Plug this one in. Then we can take our block off connector and plug it into the red and black wires. Now you can take from your extension over to our resistors and make our connections. Same for this one. So once you've made your connections, you can repeat that process on the other side, then we can get them mounted on the vehicle. So now with our harness from the vehicle, we can connect them to our new tail lights. The only ones that we should have open still is 2 1 connectors and 1 3. So we can take our green connector and put that into the number 3 connector. Then our 1s go into the remaining connectors. Now we can tuck all of our wires back in. And we can line up these studs into the 2 holes. So now that the holes are lined up with your tail light, we can take our 8mm bolts and thread them in. Then we can take our 8mm socket and tighten these down. Now you can repeat that same process on the other side.
That's going to wrap it up here for our review and install of the Morimoto XB LED taillights with black housings and smoked lenses, fitting 2017 to 2022 F-250 Super Duties. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, for all things F-250, be sure to keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.